A very good afternoon to all of you. I'm Ritu Jain, Innovation Lead from Atal Innovation Mission Niti Ayog. I welcome you all in today's Knowledge Hub session. This is our third episode of the series, and today we will be covering about design thinking and how we can use design thinking in School Innovation Marathon. To cover this topic, today we have with us Dr. Prashant R. Nair. He is our Regional Mentor of Change from Tamil Nadu. I would like request him to share his views and cover this topic under design thinking. Dr. Prashant, please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Riddhi ji. At the outset, I'm very happy to be here as part of the episode 3 of the Knowledge Hub series for the School Innovation Marathon, which is the largest contest for innovation for school children in India. I think it may emerge as probably the largest contest worldwide for innovation in school students. That's the expectation of this very awesome event. So I will be trying to give you demystify the concept of design thinking and how design thinking can be leveraged for you to build innovations, projects for the competition, that is the school innovation contest. And let me just share my slides. Are you able to see my slides?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Is it in full view? Okay. Okay. Thank you. Riddhi, for that introduction. I would like to talk to you about the design thinking concepts. But first, a little bit about why innovation is so important for each one of us, and how this school innovation marathon is really a signature event for innovation. So let me start my slides. Okay. As I mentioned, the School Innovation Marathon is the largest innovation competition for schools in India. The numbers till date have been really phenomenal. Close to 40,000 schools, more than 4.5 lakh students have already registered for this event. This event, which was earlier called the ATL Marathon, which was organized by the Atal Innovation Mission, has now expanded in scope and visibility with the Ministry of Education's Innovation Cell, UNICEF, UVA, and a host of other partners coming on board. And I will not be surprised that we hit more than 5 lakhs students and maybe close to 50,000 schools. And this emerges as perhaps the largest innovation contest for schools worldwide. I'm sure that this is going to happen by the time this competition goes into the next stage. Now, design thinking is a very useful tool that can be used to leverage innovation. It's very complementary skill that you can utilize and leverage for building your projects, building your innovations, and developing new technologies. But I want to spend a little time on what innovation is. Now, innovation, the word comes from the Latin word innovare, which means making something new. So generally speaking, innovation means you're building a new product, a new project, you're building a new service, or you're building a new process. So it's a new product, which includes projects which are under the part of the product, new process, and new service. You may be building a new phone, that's a product. You may be having a digital hospital, right? Where, all the processes are digital and the patient has very little hassle in a hospital. That's a new innovative service in terms of providing a digital hospital. Innovation can also make new processes. Using a process, you can improve the efficiency of something also, make it more productive, useful, compelling, and liked by the customers and the end users. And that is where the design thinking comes. Design thinking helps you to understand the end user, understand the customer. It's a customer centric approach. So it is complementary to the innovation process. Now, today, nobody can ignore innovation. Whether you are a student in a school, whether you are a student in a university, whether you are a professional in an IT company, whether you're a researcher, whether you're a faculty member, whether you're a company, whether you're a country, doesn't matter. You cannot ignore innovation. Innovation has become uh, uh, imperative for anybody and everybody. Why? I will tell you. Nobody can predict when the next tsunami is going to hit you. Nobody can predict when the next pandemic is going to affect you. We saw, almost 2 years we were at our homes, because of the COVID pandemic. And we saw how supply chains were taken for a toss, how we were unprepared, right? So nobody can predict when the next pandemic is going to hit us, but we have to be prepared. We have to be well prepared to face these uncertainties that may come. And that is where innovation comes. Innovation is the only way that we can move forward, right? In order to prepare for the eventualities and the challenges that we may face in the future. Now, as I mentioned, whether you're a student, whether you're a professional, whether you're a company, whether you're a country, it doesn't matter. Innovation is an imperative. Today, the country is marching forward because of initiatives like the Atal Innovation Mission, the Smart India Hackathon, and the like. India has leapfrogged into the in the innovation rankings. There is a global innovation index given by the World Intellectual Property Organization. The climb of India has been very good. From 57th position in 2017, India has moved to the 39th position. And it is initiatives like the Atal Innovation Mission, the Marathon, the School Innovation Marathon, and the other initiatives that have contributed to this climb. I mean, it's one of the factors. There are a whole lot of initiatives from all the ministries, from private industry, but definitely this has also played a very important role in this climb. Now, why I say innovation is so great, why I say innovation is so imperative. You have a company called Facebook. Facebook today boasts of over 3 billion monthly users. 3 billion people use Facebook on a monthly basis. It's larger than 3 billion. Almost 1 out of 2 people use Facebook as a medium. Now, if you call Facebook as a media company where you are publishing your media, publishing your content, Facebook is the largest media company in the world. Tell me which media company has got 3 billion plus users. But the power of innovation, the power of data is that Facebook does not create the content. The data is not created by Facebook. The content is created by you and me, the common man who is posting on Facebook. So you have the largest media company in the world, but the largest media company is driven on innovation, driven on data, because data is the new oil. And the largest media company in the world does not create any data or create any content. It is only a platform for others to use. Similar examples, Uber, more than millions of cars, for 3 million cars have the Uber sticker. There is no, if you take like a taxi service, Uber sticker is there on more than 3 to 4 million cars. But if you call it the largest taxi company in the world, very interesting thing is that Uber does not own any of these 3 million cars. The car is owned by somebody else. Again, it's a technology platform. It's a power of innovation where data is driving the business. So you have the largest taxi company in the world, Uber, but they do not own the car. Alibaba.com, a Chinese mega e-commerce company. You go to any mall, anywhere in the world, you will never see an Alibaba shop. You go to the Mall of America in Minnesota. You go to the Surya Mall in KLCC. You go to the Forum Mall in Kuala Lumpur. You go to the Forum Mall in Bangalore. You don't see an Alibaba shop. But Alibaba by far is the largest retailer in the world, which exists only on cyberspace. The company exists on cyberspace. That's the power of innovation. And data has become the new oil. Now, this is how innovation is driving the society. Innovation is driving the country. Innovation is driving the world. And design thinking is something that complements this innovation. You are all participating in a school innovation marathon. You have multiple problem statements, whether it is economic resurgence, trying to build employment for communities, whether it is providing quality health, whether it is providing affordable and technology-driven health care, whether you're protecting the cultural heritage of the country, whether you are going for digital transformation. These are the themes of the school innovation marathon. But if you see any of these themes, all the projects that you are doing, you can apply this concept of design thinking to improve your innovation, refine your innovation, and make it very customer centric. So that is where the design thinking fits into the scheme of things. Now, what is design thinking? Is it a very new concept? Well, the answer is no. We have always been finding solutions to problems. We have been solving problems from time immemorial. For eons, we have been solving problems. And how do we solve problems? We use our past experience. We have gained experience. We work in a domain. We work in a discipline. We come to know the nuances of the domain. We come to know how the domain works. Then we figure out methods. We learn through the experience. We also find solutions to problems using our expertise. We have been trained in some technology. We have been trained in some discipline. We have been trained in some way. Using that training, we apply that expertise that we gained from the training to solve the problems. We also have to make decisions. We have to make judgments. Sometimes things are not so straightforward. Sometimes there are unknowns. There are things that are not in our control. And then we rely on our gut. We rely on our judgment also to take decisions. And finally, we replicate from other situations. There are other situations. Somebody solved this problem like this. And based on that, we try to replicate the way the other person solved the problem. Of course, sometimes it works, sometimes it may not work. That risk is there. But we try to replicate, situations that are there. We were able to solve this problem by using this technology. I'm just telling you, you start warning system using IoT and sensors in the state of Uttarakhand. Why can't it work in Sikkim? It should work. We can replicate it, but we never know. There may be factors beyond our control. So we try to do that. Now, we have been doing all this, but then what is design thinking? We have been probably unconsciously applying design thinking. Not that we have not been applied design thinking. Unconsciously, we are talking to the stakeholders. We are using our experience, expertise, judgment. We are looking at similar situations. But here we are presenting a very formal, systematic approach, a kind of a philosophy to try and solve the problems. Quoting Charles Kettering, who's a very avid patent person. If you have always done it that way, it's probably wrong. It's a very questioning the status quo, questioning the existing structures, questioning the existing solutions. That's where the zing comes to the design thinking. So we have been making decisions. We have been talking to the customers, but design thinking is a new approach where you are customer centric approach, focusing on the customer, the end user, as also questioning the existing systems, the existing structures, the existing philosophy, and moving forward. So design thinking is not just a process. We were probably doing it as a process by talking to the end users. But here it is a very human-centric approach, looking at the problem from an overall perspective, a holistic point of view, using tools to capture the kind of philosophy, capture the viewpoint, capture the thinking, the mind of all these stakeholders. I put it in a very simple way. See the forest for the trees. There's a huge forest. There are so many trees. But whenever you are looking at a tree, you think of the forest as a whole. How this tree fits into the forest. That is the sense, the kind of the pulse of design thinking. So design thinking is non-linear. It is not a straightforward process. It is a repetitive process or an iterative process. It is a customer-centric process. It is a process that makes you question the existing system, always challenging the assumptions, challenging what is already followed, the existing systems, refining, redefining the problems. And how do you do it? Immersion, collaboration, validation. Immersion means you immerse yourself. You dive into the problem. You become that problem. You are building a software for mental patients. How to screen mental patients. When you are applying design thinking, you will have to live with the mental patient. Shadow the mental patient. Stay with the mental patient. Observe the mental patient. Live with the mental patient, observe every aspect of the mental patient, understand from their point of view, which is called empathizing. I'll come to that. So that is how design thinking works. You're immersing yourself, you're collaborating and validating. As we move forward, it will become a little more clearer. So design thinking is a problem solving, your inspiration, ideation, implementation. All these things get merged into one, and we will see through the steps of design thinking. So one way of having the sequence of design thinking is going through this phases of design thinking. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. Empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test. This is the sequence of design thinking, the phases of design thinking. Now, even before this concept came, we were doing these things. We were asking questions to the end user. We were trying to define a problem. We were trying to solve a problem. We were proposing a solution. We were building a small prototype or a model, and then we were trying to implement the model. This process was always there, right? But not in a customer-centric, immersive and collaborative fashion that is defined by design thinking. So we were doing all these things. We were talking to the end user. Okay, you want to build a software for mental health patients. You probably talked to a doctor. You probably defined a doctor told you something. You took one idea. You wrote that idea. Then you looked at the technology. You proposed a solution. you made a model and you tested it. Well, that sequence is the same, but the way we do it is totally different. The way is very immersive, collaborative in nature. And that's what we will see in moving forward. Now, I told you it's a non-linear process. If you see these arrows go up and down. You move from empathize to define, then you may have to come back. From define, you go to ideate. From ideate, you go to prototype. And from prototype, you have to come back to ideate. You may have to come back to define. You may have to even come back to empathize. This is a 5-stage feedback process. There is feedback at every stage. And every stage you can go back. That iterative non-linear process is new. Earlier, I told you, you asked the doctor for some information. He gave you some idea. You made a statement. You built a prototype. You tested the prototype. It's a linear process. Now it's not like that. We are going back and forth. Back and forth, you are going behind. You're going to the ideation stage. Back from a prototyping, you may have to go back to ideation. From ideation, you have to go back to define. From define, you go to empathize. There is a feedback loop. There is a feed forward and a feedback. Feed forward means you're going front, but sometimes you have to go back. That kind of process is there, which was hitherto not there. Earlier, it was a linear process. Now, it is a topsy-turvy. It is a non-linear, iterative, repetitive process called design thinking. Now, let us see each of the steps. The first step is empathize. You put yourself in the shoes of that person. I told you, you are trying to make a software for screening mental health patients, people who have mental health problems. You're trying to build a software that will try to screen. Now, whom do you talk to? Obviously, mental health patients are your most important stakeholder. You live with the, observe how they behave, understand their aspirations, understand their behavioral patterns. Not enough. You talk not only to the doctor, you talk to the relatives of the mental health patient. You talk to the doctor who is treating the mental health patient. You talk to the nurse who's calling on the mental health patient continuously. Doctor will come 2 times a day and go, but the nurse might be going 10 times a day to see the patient. You talk to all of them. Put yourself in the shoes of the user. Sit with them, immerse yourself with them, understand their journey. And that is the concept of empathizing. And empathizing is immersion, but immersion and collaboration. You're not talking to one person, but to all the connected stakeholders. You are developing a banking application. You are building a very nice e-commerce platform with banking application. Whom do you talk to? You talk to the bank customer. You empathize with the bank customer. Watch how he is going to the bank, making a payment, making a deposit, making a withdrawal, taking a loan. Not enough. You sit in the position of the loan officer, understand the loan officer's point of view. Like that, you are empathizing, immersing yourself with all the stakeholders, being in their shoes. That is the beauty of the design thinking process. This was not happening earlier. We just talk to one stakeholder, get some idea, try to implement a solution. And what is empathy? You're living with the person, you're immersing with that person, you're listening, engaging, observing, surveying, viewing the problem from the point of view of the user. And from the user's point of view, understanding their pain points. That is the more important thing. Now, let me also tell you, I told you immersion. Empathizing is immersing yourself. There is also a collaboration. There are many stakeholders. The point of view of the doctor may be different from the point of view from the nurse. Let us be honest, the doctor is meeting the mental health patient twice a day. The doctor will give an overall perspective. Okay, this is the problem, that is the problem. But the nurse is meeting the patient 10 times a day. The nurse has also a good perspective on that. But you get the multiple perspectives. Mental health patient, look at the doctor, look at the nurse. There will be multiple perspectives. Some of these perspectives may not be exactly in consonance. They may not agree with each other. Then you try to prioritize and modulate and try to understand from multiple perspectives which is the right perspective. That happens in this empathize phase for design thinking. There are several types of tools that we can use for this. One of the tools is an empathy map, mind map. It's a mind map. This is a tool. Like many tools are there for design thinking. Empathy map is one tool where you are writing a person, doctor. What does this person, doctor, understand here? What does the doctor see? What does the person, doctor, react? What do you think is there in the mind of the doctor? What is the pain point? What is the frustration of the doctor? What is the frustration of the desire of the doctor? How the doctor wants to improve the interaction with the patient? Same thing you do for the patient. Same thing you do for the nurse. I'm telling you, you will get multi-dimensional, multifaceted perspectives from different empathy maps. So you know what each person thinks. You know how the end user is. That will help you to make the best solution for solving the problem. So this first step, this empathy is extremely important in terms of empathy is very important in terms of the design thinking. This empathy was not there in the earlier thing. You talk to the stakeholder, get some idea what he wants or what is the problem and so on. But this kind of very, very comprehensive empirical method of understanding using a mind map or empathy map, listening, engaging, observing, immersing yourself into putting yourself in their shoes is a new concept. And that is the beauty of design. Now, the next step is defining the problem. You have got all multiple stakeholders giving you their issues, their problems, their needs, their suggestions. All of that has come. Now you have all the users, the doctor's point of view, the nurse's point of view, the mental health patient's point of view, also the relative of the mental health patient's point of view, because they are the person always living with that person. Their point of view also is there. With all these multiple perspectives, you define a proper problem. You gather all your information. I told you immersion and collaboration. This collaboration has come. You analyze and clearly define, refine, and frame a proper problem statement. You have multiple perspectives. From all the perspectives, you take a proper decision. You modulate, moderate, refine, reframe, and get a proper problem statement. So that well begun is half done. Once you understood the problem, it is very easy for you to make a solution. Getting the proper problem statement itself is a very important aspect. Getting the right problem statement, defining that itself is a very, very important aspect. And that is well begun is half done. If you have got the proper problem statement, then it's easy to move forward. Then you come to the ideation stage. Now, the ideation stage is very interesting. Earlier, you ask the end user, the customer, you get an idea, you get a problem, you make a solution. Here it involves multiple parts, multiple ideas, wild ideas, any idea. Get all the possible ideas. Let it be wild, let it be stupid, let it be challenging. Put a list of all the possible ideas. And here you question the existing system, question the existing, think out of the box. Go for unnormal things, don't go on the normal find some innovative solutions that are out of the box. Have a 360 degrees view. List all the possible ideas and ways to solve this problem. There may be 5 ideas. Some of them may be stupid. Some of them may be impossible. Some of them may be, wild. But write it down. Capture each and every idea that comes. Capture each and every idea that comes. List it down. You have so many ideas. Now, let me also slightly deviate. Most successful companies in the world are those who allow their employees to challenge the status quo. Think out of the box. Why do you think companies like Google or 3M Corporation have been so successful? Because they encourage, there is a culture of encouraging ideas. Encouraging, even if it is a wild idea, you never know. Maybe the wild idea may become tomorrow's most successful product. Even today, you open google.com. It's such a simple interface. There's no fancy graphics. There is only a doodle that kind of changes as per the trend and as per the culture or as per the country. It's a beautiful simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. It is so simple. That is the beauty of it. So can you think of a search engine which is so simple to use? Anybody can just put in the bar in the Google bar and do what you want. There is no high funda. Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Such a beautiful idea, right? So that is the kind of attitude you need to have. All the kind of ideas, you list down the ideas. Let it be stupid, let it be wild, let it be impossible, but list it. Prioritize all the ideas which is possible. Now here you use your judgment. You have 5 ideas. First idea is doable. Second idea is doable but very expensive. Third idea is impossible. Fourth idea is not possible. Technology is not available. Fifth idea is not sustainable. Like that, you are able to list all the ideas 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after listing the ideas, you prioritize the ideas, select one of the idea, and you build a prototype. A prototype is a model, is a scaled down version of the actual thing. It's a model of the thing. It will not be perfect. You are trying to just build something that kind of echoes the idea that is going to solve the problem. Prototype will only give you a basic idea, and prototype will give you a feel of the solution. You are starting creating the solution, right? Now that is the first feel of the whole solution. Now prototyping is a very iterative and repetitive process. You make a fun basic prototype, you show it to the end user, show it to all the stakeholders. They will give you all the ideas, they give you the weaknesses, the fallings. They'll say, I don't like this is not going to work out. Like that, in an iterative fashion, you prototype, repeat it maybe 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times. Each prototype you are improving. From a basic prototype, it is going to becoming a more advanced prototype. From an advanced prototype, it is becoming a more working prototype. That iterative process is there. And final prototype will be your final solution or your innovation. So this is a very repetitive process. You have to be patient. You have to move through the steps one by one. You have to, every time you make a prototype, you go back, you show it to the end user, show it to the customer, show it to the stakeholders, get their inputs, let them try to incorporate those inputs, go on refining the prototype, and you go after several iterations, you get the final product. That final prototype is nothing but your final innovation. That final innovation, you take it to the end users and you test it. Testing is needed. Anything you do, you have to test. You buy a new television, you put it, you buy a new television, you just go to the shop, you buy the television, you come home, again you test it. Is the television working? Is the channel selector working? Is the antenna working? This is going. So all those things you continuously go on testing. And once the testing is perfect, voila, you have the final solution to the problem. So what I taught you is not rocket science. We have been doing this consciously or unconsciously, right? We have been doing this, but not in a very strategic iterative, repetitive, collaborative, immersive manner. That is where the design thinking comes. We have been doing this process of going back. We have been doing this process of empathizing, asking the end user, defining a problem, giving so many ideas, selecting an idea, making a prototype, testing and making a solution. But we have never been doing it in such an iterative, repetitive fashion, in a very collaborative fashion, in a very immersive way. You're empathizing with talking to all the stakeholders, and and you get the this is the concept of design thinking. You're doing the steps of empathizing, defining, ideating, prototyping, testing in an iterative, collaborative, repetitive, empathizing, immersive fashion. That is very unique approach, and that is why people feel that this is very good, because you are very customer centric, you are user centric. Whatever they want, the user wants, you are trying to do, and from their point of view. That is why this process is very, very successful, and it complements the innovation ecosystem. The innovation process is complemented. It's a new way of thinking. It's a new philosophy where you're applying these tools, techniques, methods, going in a collaborative fashion, going in an immersive fashion, going in a iterative and repetitive fashion, which is very unique today for product development. And to build innovation, this process will definitely fetch you good rewards and good solutions and good outcomes. Just to show you some of the companies that have used design thinking. Now, you are going to work on school innovation marathon. I gave you the example of a mental health software. You are making a software to screen mental health patients. That is your innovation for the school innovation marathon. Now, for this, what do you do? I told you, first step, live with the mental health patient, talk to the doctor, talk to the nurse, talk to the relatives, understand all perspectives, find out what is the best way to define the problem in terms of what are the existing ways for screening mental health and how you can do it in a unique fashion. Then you ideate what are the solutions to screen, take so many solutions, choose the best solution to screen mental health patients. From several solutions, or from several ideas, you choose the best idea. That best idea, you make it into a prototype. The prototype goes on. You go multiple times to the stakeholders, show it, give feedback, go on refining that prototype, and finally you get the final prototype is nothing but what is the solution for the software for screening mental health patients. And finally, you test it on real life patients and see how it works. This is the steps, the journey for design thinking. Now, many companies have used this in a very, very positive manner, very successful manner. One of the examples is small children when they have to go for MRI scans, magnetic resonance imaging scans to take X-ray, not X-rays, images of the body and so on and so forth. Children go on crying because it's a dark chamber, the dark and dingy chamber. Nobody is near you and you have to stay still to get the image. It's very difficult. Children go on crying. But what GE did is they put the Pirates of Caribbean adventure in the MRI machine, and the result was spectacular. The Pirates of the Caribbean, pirate adventure with beaches, castles, ocean. Children were really enjoying, and the satisfaction, it was fun for the children, and the satisfaction increased by 90%. This is one of the success stories of applying design thinking into their innovation. Another example is Oral-B, electric toothbrush. I mean, I don't think many people use it. At least in India, very few people use. So what Oral-B did is they had an electric toothbrush and they made it very high funda with so many functionalities: brushing frequency, observing gum sensitivity, music, connecting to the mobile phone. But all that totally failed. No. On applying design thinking, they found out that people don't want all these functionalities. They just want to wake up in the morning, use a simple toothbrush, brush properly in a hygienic fashion, and come out. They don't want all these functionality, and then they reverted to basic functionalities. So this is an example, where you're asking the people, do you want this? Do you want this? They don't want. This is an example of design thinking. Another example, Airbnb. When you're traveling to big cities like New York or Los Angeles or London or Paris, hotels are very expensive, right? But one cheaper option is an Airbnb. Bed and B&B is bed and breakfast. You go in a small room, everything is there, air conditioning is there, television is there. You also get food, and they're very cheap. There may be some apartment or there may be a small dormitory. It's a very cheap option. But the Airbnb found out that they were not getting much business. The reason was that the pictures that they posted of the rooms in the apartment or the service apartment or the dormitory was not very good. And so Airbnb sent people from their company to take high resolution, nice photos. And now the result was very good. In fact, today also, if you go to agoda.com and the actual hotel may not be so great, but the images are really super. I mean, my own experience, I'm telling you, I think 5 or 6 years back, Airbnb, some beautiful apartment was shown in Bangkok. I thought it was beautiful. I booked, but when I went there, the room was okay, but it was not in a very good location. So those kind of things are there. But this is an example of how Airbnb used design thinking and kind of improved the system. So this is a very useful concept. Whatever theme you are taking, whether it is sustainable communities and cities, or whether you are using for quality education or healthcare or heritage, apply this into your innovation, into your project, and I'm sure you will be able to get a very good product and good innovation and so on. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'll be happy to answer questions. Never stop learning. That is my theme. I also want to stress upon, I am associated with the Atal Innovation Mission as a mentor. It's a pure voluntary role. There are almost 6,200 of us mentors who are employed as professors, as industry folks, or startups who are kind of giving pro bono volunteering to the Atal Innovation Mission, and they're playing a role in helping the vision. And I cannot but stress that at least for the School Innovation Marathon, the role of a mentor is extremely important. I've been a mentor for almost 5 years now. I've seen multiple of my teams win the marathon over the last 5 editions. But I'm telling you, this time it's going to be tough. The numbers have really shot up the roof. And I think mentors have to play a very important role. Visit your schools, sit with your teams, refine the presentations, refine the documents, refine the videos, apply design thinking if they're, help them do the design thinking, help them do that. Handhold, in a nutshell, you need to handhold. The mentors need to spend a lot of time hand-holding the teams, because it's going to be very competitive. So I think I cannot stress upon the role of a mentor. There are almost 6,200 mentors. And I think in each school, there are 2 or 3 mentors. Some schools have 1 mentor, some have 3 mentors. Please connect with your mentors, use their expertise. If they don't have the expertise, a mentor can also be connect to the right people, right? If I am a mentor, I work as a computer science professor in Amrita University in Coimbatore. I don't work on IoT. I work on something else, Industry 4.0. But I have a full team of faculty and students who work on IoT. And I connect my school ATL, Atal Tinkering Lab, to that team that is working. So that also the mentor can do. If the mentor directly doesn't have the expertise, he can connect to people in the community. So I think mentors have to play a very important role. I'll appeal to the mentors. This is an awesome contest, and please contribute your might towards making this School Innovation Marathon the largest innovation competition for schools worldwide. Thank you so much. Over to you, Ruti.
Thank you, sir. We have received few questions on WhatsApp, so if would request you to take. First is how necessary is to undergo each step of design thinking to build our innovation better.
Yeah. See, every step has to, you have to go through, slow and steady wins the race. You have to go one step at a time. You cannot skip a step. If you skip a step, it is not design thinking. If you understand what I'm trying to tell you. The earlier when we are solving a problem, we were probably skipping a step. We were assuming that this is the problem and building a solution. We were not empathizing, or we were not properly defining. Somebody tells you, I want this problem, I'll make a solution for me. So every step in the journey is very important. And not only that, going multiple times in every step, iteratively, is also important.
The next question they ask is, what is the competitive advantage of using design thinking, and what will happen if we don't undergo design thinking for our project for SIM?
See, competitive advantages, you are building a product that the customer wants, right? Whatever you are, anything you build, you are building a product or a service. You want to build something where the customer wants it or customer likes it. And today, if you do not build something that is needed by the customer, your competitor will take over, right? You will become extinct, right? So that is that today's marketing, today's world is like that. It's very competitive. If you don't provide the service that is needed, your competitor will take over. What happened to Nokia phones? Where are Nokia phones today? You don't see Nokia phones here because they couldn't innovate enough. But look at Apple iPhones, you know how they are kind of very customer centric. I'm just giving you a broad example. So this will help you build something that the customer likes. The customer is delighted, not happy. Customer, you have to delight the customer. And when you delight the customer, you will get the competitive advantage, and your competitors will vanish. That's why I say design thinking is very important.
And lastly, would you recommend the best resources to study design thinking?
Yeah, there are a lot of tools that are available. Flow charts are there, mind maps are there, empathy maps are there. So many tools are available for design thinking. As such, it's a philosophy. So there are tools for empathizing. Right? For empathizing, I showed you the empathy map or the mind map. That is one tool we can use. For prototyping, there are many tools available. Computer based tools are there, hardware plus software tools are there. So there are tools available for everything. For ideation, there are tools available. For defining the problem, there are tools available. Prototyping, there are tools available. Testing, there are tools available. Design thinking doesn't tell you to use this tool or that tool. You can use any tool that is available so that the process gets more efficient and for design thinking.
Thank you, Dr. Prashant. Thank you for this enlightening session. And I'm pretty sure that it's going to help our students to integrate design thinking as a creative strategy to understand the problem and create some innovative solutions around it. Thank you for your time. And I hope all the mentors are going to leverage these learning resources to maximize the participation in School Innovation Marathon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so